session. We're heading very quickly into the festive period. The last sign off before I think we all go off and enjoy the festivities. Tinie's brought his Christmas headwear with him.
I was going to wear them and I thought, no, let me not do that today.
We definitely should have organised some kind of festive, attire.
I've got my lights on. I don't know if you can see that.
I love it. I've got some beads around my plants in my office. Does that count?
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you, Tinie? Hello.
I'm good. I'm good. Good. People walk in and they say, "Oh, it's Christmas. Why is he hanging?"
That's the only plug you could reach.
Anyway,
fabulous.
Yeah.
How are you? Are you ready for Christmas?
I'm
have you had
good.
a good week? Are you on the wind down?
Yeah, I think all that is left for me is just a few admin bits and setting up for next year, and making sure that we do those 1% increments every day to make things move forward. But I've set up my little list and stuff like that. So yeah, we just got to. That's it. Just got to. Because otherwise you're going to sit and during Christmas dinner think, I should do, and then those things start happening. And then
I've spent a lot of this week, like you, doing admin stuff, but also like doing a lot of reflection. I think it's really important to do like reflection, what worked, what didn't, what lessons, what you're taking forward. But like you, I literally download everything out of my head because I really like to take a solid 2 weeks off where I have not got that little niggle going on. So I just download everything onto paper of like, who do I need to follow up with? What do I need to do when I get back? What's like, and then it's like, it's done. I'm good. I am not checking any emails. I will be off with family.
That's it. And close the door to the office and don't come in it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So what are we talking about today? Because we're not talking about Christmas, unfortunately. So this is one of our last tasks of the year. So that's really nice. It's a really nice way to end the year. So for anyone listening that's just joined us, found us, this is our empowered leadership discussions where me and Tinie come along and help you to think about things differently and to challenge your perspective around things for coaching and leadership. So this week we are talking about something that's very close to our hearts because we do this all the time, is team dynamics and team dynamics in organizations, and to hopefully give you some tips and tricks to improve your team dynamics if it's something that you're struggling with. So let's start where we always start, because I like to keep things simple. What are we talking about? Because we use terminology, we use words that we align with, we understand it's clear to us, but people listening might not understand. They might be sitting thinking, what are they talking about? What is team dynamics? Like, what even is it? So what is it in your words? What is it, Tinie? What are we talking about?
It's the, I'd say it's the ability to actually interact with people to get something done in a way that's meaningful for everybody.
And I think it's just to build on that, for me, it's how we just working together to achieve an aligned goal. It's how do we work together, isn't it? It's the interaction, it's the communication, it's the energy, it's all of that stuff. Just
all of those things. And then what happens at work, it's one or two things that one person does, and then it's one or two things that other people do, and then it's the big bosses that come in and say, oh, we need blah blah blah. And it's how do you, as the manager of the team, help navigate the complexities or the noises that happen around the whole team dynamic and protect your team.
And it doesn't matter whether you've got a team of 500 people, a team of 100 people, a team of 5 people. It does not matter, does it? It's how you are helping that team operate at its best and actually be effective and impactful whilst wanting to be part of a team.
There's nothing worse than not being able to sleep on a Sunday night because you don't want to go to work on a Monday.
That's the worst.
We've all been there, and but how cool is it when you come to work and you're excited to do what it is you've been asked to do, and you're okay to fail, you're okay to make a mistake, you're okay to experiment, almost fail forward a little bit, grow in the process, become better, teach someone else. And those are things that you love doing, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. And it's that whole team dynamic that the manager creates that facilitates an increase in performance, and not in a measured punitive way, but because people love being there and doing what they're doing.
And I was thinking, when you were saying about those listing those things, like also having I was going to say confidence, but like the comfort to challenge or to go and express an opinion that isn't necessarily deemed the right opinion, like, or being able to go and express a feeling, a thought, an idea to your team, to your manager, to whoever, and it not be shot down, to not be be told like that's not needed here. Like, it's all of that stuff, isn't it? That builds that trusted space.
Definitely. And if we pull up a little bit, the thing is about time and resources. It always gets spoken about. Oh, we don't have enough time. We've got to get this project over the line. Do we have enough people? Do we have to outsource? All of those things are conversations that happen. But I think a conversation before that the manager can help with is the whole understanding piece. What is it that we're trying to achieve, and how is this aligned to our strategic intent? And what is the difference that we're going to be making as a business because we're taking this on? And so help your team with enough information so that they can say no.
Absolutely. And it'd be okay. Well,
the thing is, I'm going to say no, and let's negotiate. Let's talk about this, because the whole thing is that everybody talks about, strategy and how do we roll out projects and stuff like that. But it's three key things. It's the idea that happens, the project that makes that idea come true, and the tasks that help the project move forward so that the idea can come true. So if you break it down into that, and someone comes to you and says, hey, Tienie, and they come in at the task space, not even at the project space, and they say, hey, Tienie, come on, can you do this? Oh, it's an awesome thing, and I know you love doing this, and this will be a great thing for you to do. Helping me to say, let's think about that. I'd love to do that, but for me to say yes to that, I've got to say no to something I'm busy with. And so I'm going to flip it. I'm going to say no to you, and let's see if there's something here that I'm busy with that we need to then replace that with.
Yeah, it's that intention, isn't it?
It's that intention, and then how we have that discussion about saying, let's pile this on top of that. And then it becomes a bandwidth issue, and then it becomes a wellness issue, and then it becomes a mental health issue. And then, so when we get to a team dynamics place, and when we start exploring it within businesses, we always see the illness, so to speak. And then we have to now go into a bit of a learning strategy analysis piece to get to whether it's paracetamol, ibuprofen, or actually the whole
what's the solution
Paris piece. Yes.
So with that in mind, right, let's take a step back, because I want to get like really specific. So when we're thinking about team dynamics, like when you say it's almost that it's got to get to it being a pain point or something not being completed or something consistently coming up before we really stop and go, what's going on here? What's the root cause? So what do we think? Let's talk about like the top 2, 3, 4 things. If people are really struggling with team dynamics, what they might be experiencing on a day-to-day basis in their role, because team dynamics is so broad, right? It covers, we know this, like it covers so many things. There could be so many things going on, but let's talk about the 2 or 3 things that we think actually these are common things that people listening, managers, leaders, might be thinking, oh, I have these conversations on repeat. I have these thoughts on repeat. I have these issues on repeat. Like maybe it's a team dynamics issue that we've got going on. Where do you go with that? And then I'll add mine in. What do you think?
How many times have you asked someone to do something for you and what they've given you wasn't what you asked for? It's either too much or too little. So it's the whole piece of, it's a whole piece of expectations. How many times have you walked up to someone and they still haven't made a decision on whether they're moving backward or forward with something that you've asked them to actually move forward or backward on? So the decision-making process, and having a discussion. And then the other piece is having difficult conversations, being able to hold someone accountable for something that's not happening, or that's been done in a way that's harmful to someone else. In other words, but authoritarian in the way that they're giving feedback, or being punitive, or quite a robust and prickly character. And being able to have those conversations and navigate those difficult conversations so that your teams feel comfortable to be able to do that. And that also sits in the feedback loop. And it's not just how do I give feedback, it's the actual having the discussion and pulling someone up and saying, listen, that's not okay in the environment that we're working in, and let me talk to you, and let's explore how that isn't okay, because nothing has to be combative or seen as being combative, because our intent is always positive.
Absolutely. And I think there's lots of these things that filter into each other, because I think when we have a culture where we open, and not even difficult, I hate that term, because it's almost just open adult conversations, right? Because I feel like there isn't, it might be uncomfortable, but it really doesn't need to be difficult. We all adults, we all want the same positive intent. We still all working towards the same aim, hopefully. So one that I think I would add into that is around kind of misaligned priorities or misaligned goals, where people are siloed working, and you might there'll be conflict. You might see conflict in priorities. Someone's working on that because they think that's important. Well, I'm working on this because I think this is important. So there's that misalignment in the goals, the direction, I think that's something that, and then it almost becomes an ego game of my function's more important than your function. Like my job's more important than yours. Like if I don't get this done, well, actually, if we're working towards an alignment, sometimes we have to park our ego and go, do you know what? I need to support you, Tienie, in delivering your task, because that's what the business needs right now. Let me help you. Let me park that. And like vice versa, rather than us both pulling in opposite directions.
Yeah. And that's a whole piece of trust. And there's a difference between capacity and allocation. And so now you're at capacity. Has anybody got 2 days this week that they can help me and allocate themselves to helping me? Because I've got a bit of a quiet week and you've got quite a busy week, and it's a heavy lift to get that project over the line, whatever the case may be. And so now we're building up collaborative currency with each other and having discussions. And whether you like someone or don't like someone has got nothing to do with the fact of capacity and allocation. Absolutely. It's success of the team. It's success of the team. And yes, there are people that annoy us in our team, but we need to become homely with that. We need to start thinking differently about that, in the sense that John does that, Mary does that, and be okay with that. Because when you're living in Durham or in Nottingham or wherever we are, my neighbors are always playing loud music, or parks across my drive, or cuts the hedge. So we're getting comfortable with that. So it's kind of almost a homely environment. And the same applies to team, is how do we get to accepting other people's prickliness, so to speak. Caitlin's always an introvert. She's quiet. I struggle to get information out of her. But when I do, it's on the money.
But also, like, how are we adapting to get the best out of those individuals and accepting who they are and going, this is how they like to be communicated to. This is how in advance they like to be communicated. And I think there's so much that plays into it. That's why I knew it would be really difficult for us to identify kind of like 3 or 4 areas of this, because it all interlinks. And I think all of this that we've talked about leads to poor team dynamics, poor motivated teams, like poor disengaged teams. Like, it all has an impact. And then obviously the impact of that's like, so what? Why does it matter? Like, should I care? Should I invest in my team? Well, the fallout of all of this is the productivity and bottom line, right? So eventually it will hit your bottom line. It will impact your P&L. And I think that's really important to talk about, because sometimes I think people think this stuff's all like fluffy and nice to have and stuff. But actually, this is the stuff that's going to set your business aside from your competitors.
Yeah. And it goes to ultimate colleague value. And what does that mean to you? And as a line manager, oh my word, I'm so tired. I'm getting into Christmas. I need to just close this week off, but I've got 2 one-to-ones and they're my high maintenance individuals in my team. Can I just shorten that meeting?
Yeah.
For instance, I would say double the meeting time and spend time in getting to know them a bit better, so that you build up the currency to have a better relationship with those people. And it is being a line manager and having a team that you're needing to manage is something that you and me have a conversation on about every day, about person accidentally getting there because they're a great delivery in work. They were a team member once, they were the star performer, and now they have to now lead a team because of that. And so 2 things happen. You take the star performer away from another team. And the second thing is you put someone in a management position that hasn't really got the management skills, or you haven't trained them up on management skills, or having conversations or setting and managing expectations. And instinctively, you feel as a business that someone should just be able to do that. And are surprised at the end of the year when they have people fatigue.
Yeah, 100%. And we did a whole session on accidental managers. So for anyone that is really important and thinks, oh my gosh, that's me, or we've got that situation, go and listen to that session, reach out, let's have a conversation, because this is something we come across all the time. And it's how are we setting our people up to be great managers and leaders, to really, because that team dynamics piece, that skill, is completely different to doing your day job and to making the widgets, to doing the stuff, right? And I think there's so many people that think, oh, we'll give them a promotion, they're brilliant, and that's it, end of story. But then it almost becomes 3 months down the line, how do I manage them out that role, out this business, because they are really difficult to manage, they can't do the job, the team are demotivated, we're having people leaving left, right and centre, and it's like, oh my god, I made a big mistake. Well, actually the mistake that you made wasn't putting them there, it was not supporting them and giving them skills to be the best that they could be in there, right? And I think this whole team dynamics piece, if you do have challenges with how the team interact, with how the team communicate and perform, I think from a kind of starting point is understanding who's leading those teams and what kind of ability they've got, what training they've had. And I think there's the complete opposite of like feeling like there should be shame or guilt that people can't manage your teams effectively. That doesn't mean that you're a bad manager or leader. You've just not been equipped with the knowledge and the skills to do it, I would say.
And I'm smiling because there's about 4 businesses that I've been involved in from an onboarding point of view. And those businesses that make people management part of a module, part of their onboarding for people coming into the business, whether they're graduates and whether they're senior leaders in the business, they have got a people management element in the onboarding, outperform those who don't. And so, and also when you promote someone, part of their probation period should be completing people management training of sort, or team dynamic training, or understanding behavioral assessments and what the different behaviors are in your team, looking at key elements that you feel will enhance the relationship they have with the other people that they're working with or that they're leading.
What I've seen as well, and I know I'm biased with this, and I'm not saying it is a sales pitch, I'm just genuinely saying this works, is when I've seen people recruited into senior management positions, like impactful leadership management, where a role of responsibility, they've, as part of their onboarding, been given a coach to embed into that business, into that role, to help them set themselves off on the best possible step, because there is an integration process, isn't there? There is a step up, whether you're stepping up internally or coming in externally, there is a transition into that role. And sometimes we kind of go, right, Friday night you leave on this title, or Friday night you're not here, then Monday morning you should be up and running and fully functioning, motivating and engaging the teams, right? Like that's the expectation sometimes, isn't it?
Massive struggle. But some people can do it and have a natural inclination towards that, and are naturally orientated to lead, influence, and manage people. Use those people to teach and mentor others to get better.
Yeah.
It's just I'm sometimes so surprised where things happen and people say, yeah, that makes sense. From an outsider looking in, yeah, let's do that, kind of thing. When in actually, when you're in it, the
You don't
work
see
or
it.
the project and
You don't see
task,
it.
contaminate your view.
It's that whole thing of like, you can't read the label from inside the bottle, right? Like, that's
No.
genuinely the case. And
Yeah.
I think even for us, we get external support in the ethical coaching company to help us, whether that's coach, consultant, mentor. We do actively seek those people out because we cannot see it for ourselves. Whilst we help other people see it, we might be missing something for ourselves. And I think that's the same in any business. Like, you can't necessarily be expected to do this for yourself, this work, and do it without any kind of independent perspective or support. No. Like you say, some people are naturally more inclined to that way, but not everybody is. So if we take our 4 things that we've identified, let's just kind of like start to go, like, what could we be doing about it? So if you're seeing this, like, what would we be doing? So we've got the 4 that we've got are missed expectations. So you're kind of asking people to do something, they're not doing them. People aren't making decisions. They're stepping forward, they're stepping back, they're sitting in that place of not really moving anywhere. Avoiding difficult conversations and misaligned goals. They're working in silos, they're not working together as a team. So these are the things. So say these 4 things, like, where are we starting with helping people that are listening and going, oh my gosh, I've got that challenge? Where do we start to help them?
So the whole piece is potentially just analyzing everybody in your team. Who are the drivers? Who are the networkers? Who are the guys that like crossing the T's and dotting the I's? Who are the guys that are caring and helpful, and understanding how they work. So let's start off with the individuals in your team and how they like to work, what their behavioral profiles potentially look like, what is the communication style that they have. Then give them the tools to be able to adjust to each other in setting and managing expectations conversations.
So getting to know your team. And I think that comes back to a little bit what I was saying before. It's like, who's leading the team? Who's the impactful person? How are they doing it? And do they need support? Because I think also as part of that, like, how do you want your team to interact? What culture are you creating in your team? Like, what is it that you want to see? So you're saying you feel like all this stuff's not happening, the team isn't working well together. What do you want to see? And how can you move from where you are and what you've got to create that? And also there's a big communication piece, isn't there? Of working with your team to let them know that's what you want from them and get them involved.
Yeah. And it is also the whole thing. Some people are going to leave your team, and how would you replace them? It's not the curriculum vitae replacement. It's the behavior replacement that you need to look at. And what is the team dynamic from a cultural perspective and from the way it likes to work perspective, and what is it that we are missing as a team? Like you and I go out and look for external consultants to help us navigate certain elements that we're lacking in our business. The same applies to you from a team dynamics point of view. Is we're all great at this, but we don't have that. When we hire, let's hire for that. And more from a behavioral point of view, because people have to integrate with each other in that homely sense.
And I think also speaking with your teams and understanding what experience are they having, because we've talked previously about creating great experiences, right? But if we want to create an aligned culture, if we want to create teams that work really well and communicate effectively, we need to understand what's going on for them, because this isn't something that we push as managers onto them or push as leaders onto them. Like, this has to be a collaborative team approach, in my opinion. Like, there's no point me going, right, well, I want this, there you go, off you go. Like, that's it. It's like, what's happening in the day-to-day for them? What do they want to see improving? What do they think will be worth, investing time and effort and energy in?
And it's the whole, every team is different. And although I would say about 60% of our team dynamic pieces of work that I've done in the past have got a particular theme that's consistent, but it's going in and look at what's working already and build off that.
Yeah.
So it's not like you want to scrape the whole team's behavioral profile and say, you've got to behave this way and all of you need to adjust to that. None of that is the approach. The approach, to your point, is the whole collaborative piece. What's working already? What are you guys doing brilliantly? What does success look like for you? What does transformation look like for you? And for you guys to get there, let's all go on a journey of discovery of what's required for us to do that. And we all align ourselves to that and say, yes, I know we need someone to cross the T's and dot the I's, because we're great at giving presents. We just don't know how to wrap them. So let's
absolutely.
And as a team, you decide, whoa, that's what we do. And so when the manager says, okay, we need to hire 2 more people, great. Everybody says, yeah, we need people that are wrapping presents. So what are we looking for? And let's be part of the interview process. So now it becomes a whole team piece, and the team dynamic just flourishes.
And like, we're not saying here everything's going to be pink and rosy all the time and everyone's going to get on and it's going to be a big friendly family team. Absolutely not. It's where conflict can happen in a trusted, safe space and we can still get over it and move on. People can disagree and challenge and have a different opinion and it not be held against them ostracized from the group, like we're not interested. It's healthy conflict. It's healthy conversations. And that is the only way that you're going to excel, isn't it? Because you need diversity in the team. You need different people's opinions. You need that innovation.
Yeah. And some of the things, you're not open to a particular part of a discussion, and the more you have it, you say, why didn't I think of that long time ago? Why didn't I embrace that sooner? So everybody gets an aha moment, and we always preach, we either succeed or we learn, and so it's not we succeed and fail. What am I learning? What am I getting from this? What are some of the things that I can take away that makes me better? Or I succeed. And also then in the success piece, if you're succeeding too often, there's an issue as well. The tasks are too easy.
Do you believe in the statement, you're only as strong as your weakest team member?
I feel that it's not just one person. There'll be a collective theme. So you'll have 2 or 3 team members that have that same limitation. So whether it's although it will land on one team member, I feel you're as strong as your last result as a team.
And I've taken that a bit wider. Like, I think it is, you are genuinely, like, it's the power of the group, right? And if your power is if your team is mediocre, that's what you are. And that comes back to that, you're only as good as your last result. And I think that's important because and this is the mindset shift, isn't it? It's not people going Lone Ranger. It's not people setting sail on their own and going, I'm the hero here. It's how can we take people with us on, like, our joint collective goal, isn't it?
Yeah. If I flip your statement on its head, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Let your team find those challenging projects, those things that help them grow, that make them transform. Meeting and exceeding expectations in today's climate is easy, in inverted commas. It's the transformation piece, and it's the consistently exceeding expectations that becomes the trick. And how can I get my team to get into that space and catch them doing things right?
Brilliant. I love it. Right, we've run out of time. Like, genuinely, this is a topic I knew. We should have definitely done a smaller topic, because this is, like, we're so passionate about this area and it's something that we do and talk a lot about.
So many nuances.
Yes. So it's finding, as an excellent pattern statement from my perspective is just, if you do anything in 2025, look at your team dynamics, look at how you can support your team, reach out and have a chat if you want any help on that. But thank you so much. as always, Tienie. And I hope we've given people lots of food for thought, as we intend to, and give them lots of ideas of where to start to look if they feel like they align with all the things that we've said today. But just from us, wishing you a really amazing happy Christmas, and we'll see you in the new year.
Yes. Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a great festive season. And it'll be awesome to interact with you about your team.